You're listening to the Christian Post Daily Podcast. Today is Friday, August 14th. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is marking the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence with a message about the true meaning of American freedom. In a video posted to X, prefaced with the caption, "This is the American way," Rubio said the founders understood liberty meant something much more than being able to do whatever one wants. He added, "It was not the mere absence of limits. It was not liberation from man's duty to family, to nation, to God," pointing to the family, the church, and just and moral laws as institutions that cultivate virtue. The video features Mount Rushmore, the moon landing, Ronald Reagan, and Billy Graham, closing with a call to pray, "America's tradition endures another 250 years. Rubio currently polls second among 2028 Republican hopefuls at 21%, behind Vice President J.D. Vance. The WNBA is speaking out amid a growing controversy over gender eligibility in women's sports. Following a Wednesday meeting of team presidents and general managers, a league spokesperson said discussions covered transgender athletes and the continued hate and vitriol directed at players online, adding, "There are no immediate eligibility matters affecting the WNBA, and we strongly denounce the bad faith efforts to use these topics to demean or marginalize others." The league's collective bargaining agreement states only players who are women are eligible, but offers no definition of a woman. The debate escalated after Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham said she wants to protect young girls in a locker room, and after former NBA players Ines Kanter and Royce White declared themselves eligible for the 2027 WNBA draft. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has convened a task force on the issue. The U.S. Supreme Court is being asked to overturn a decades-old precedent that bars religious studies majors from receiving state tuition assistance. Alliance Defending Freedom, First Liberty Institute, Troutman Pepper Locke, and the National Legal Foundation filed a petition on behalf of Liberty University student Bethany Hall, who lost her Virginia tuition assistance grant after switching from music education to a music and worship major. The Fourth Circuit ruled against her, citing the 2004 decision Locke v. Davey. "It is odious to our Constitution for a state to fund a degree in music, but refuse to fund a degree in music and worship," said Stephen Fitchen of the National Legal Foundation. Notably, Josh Davey, the student at the center of that original case, is now an attorney representing Hall, saying he hopes the court will correct that decision. Lawyers argue Locke conflicts with later rulings, including Trinity Lutheran, Espinoza, and Carson versus Machen. In the final stretch of a tight Texas U.S. Senate race, a conservative PAC backing Attorney General Ken Paxton is drawing fire for an AI-generated attack at targeting Democratic State Representative James Talarico. Released August 7th by the American Principles Project PAC as part of a reported $10 million ad blitz, the spot reimagines Lyndon Johnson's famous 1964 Daisy commercial showing a girl in a field before cutting to her on an operating table, where a surgeon's mask is pulled down to reveal an AI likeness of Talarico. The narrator warns, "The trans industry preys on confused children." APA President Terry Schilling said Talarico wears Christianity like a skin suit to conceal his radical trans agenda. Spokesman J.T. Ennis fired back, calling the ad flat-out lying and shameful scare tactics. A regional body of the United Methodist Church is taking one of its largest congregations to court. The UMC's Horizon Texas Annual Conference filed a petition for declaratory judgment Monday in Dallas County District Court against Highland Park United Methodist Church, alleging the Dallas megachurch appears to be attempting to unilaterally sever its denominational ties. The complaint says Highland Park filed a restated certificate of formation in November 2022, renaming itself Highland Park Methodist Church and stripping references to the UMC, the conference, and the Book of Discipline from its governing documents. The conference says Bishop Reuben Sayans worked privately with church leaders before suing. Senior Minister Matt Tuggle called the suit meritless, saying leaders were blindsided. Founded in 1918, Highland Park has roughly 15,000 members and once counted President George W. Bush among attendees. A Christian immigrant family is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to step into a fight over whether a man who identifies as a woman must be admitted to the nude, female-only areas of their Korean spa, where patrons include girls as young as 13. Attorneys with the Pacific Justice Institute and Alliance Defending Freedom filed the petition on behalf of Olympus Spa, which has locations in Linwood and Tacoma, Washington, and is operated by Sun Lee and his family. The case began in 2020 when Haven-Wilvich filed a complaint with the state's Human Rights Commission, which found the spa in active violation of Washington's anti-discrimination law. PJI Chief Counsel Kevin Snyder argued no woman or girl should have to give up her right to bodily privacy and safety to avoid offending a man. A divided Ninth Circuit dismissed the spa's First Amendment challenge, saying the law imposes only incidental burdens on religious expression. Kansas is preparing for a night of worship and protest. On September 26th, thousands are expected at Evergy Plaza in downtown Topeka for Open Skies, a free inaugural open-air event headlined by Bethel Music with Jen Johnson and Dove Award-winning hip-hop artist KB. Organizers describe it as an intentional gathering to celebrate worship, seek the Holy Spirit, and invite people to discover and follow Jesus, complete with food trucks and community fellowship. The event marks the 125th anniversary of the 1901 Topeka outpouring, considered a birthplace of modern Pentecostalism. Host Cody Foster, founder of AIM Strategies, said, "I believe God has been moving in Topeka for generations, but Westboro Baptist Church plans to protest." Elder Jonathan Phelps blasted the satanic tunes, claiming such bands lure thousands to the ever-popular broad path to hell. Thank you for listening to the Christian Post Daily Podcast. We encourage you to follow the show in your podcast player of choice, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or third-party podcast players like Overcast and Pocket Casts. You can also download the Edify app for free and listen to all the podcasts on the Edify network by clicking the link in today's podcast show notes. We would also appreciate a 5-star rating in Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us reach a wider audience with the Christian Post Daily Podcast. You can also subscribe to our daily newsletter and get the top headlines delivered to your inbox by clicking that link in the show notes as well. Thank you again for listening to the Christian Post Daily Podcast.